Great morning, world! Welcome to the Rise Up with Dragon podcast with your host, Dragon!
Great morning, world. This is your boy Dragon coming at you. Funny because right before I started the podcast this morning and the live show, I pushed the wrong button. But because we're just coming at you raw here and just enjoying the ride, we're okay with it. As a matter of fact, I've been thinking a lot lately. A lot of people have been asking me about the origins, of this show. And it's kind of funny because I've been hosting and getting very, very involved in Clubhouse. And as a quick reminder, to find me on Clubhouse, and I have the room open right now. We're streaming it live in there for the after party after today's Rise Up. But a lot of people ask me who's Dragon and how did that whole thing start off? And it's an interesting story because I started podcasting. This is pre-pandemic. And I never really knew too much about podcasting. And it was really just something that I was doing as a means of basically practicing my craft. I write every day and I do this morning ritual, and I was doing a lot of public speaking. So I was putting myself into this uncomfortable zone where I would go live and I would record on the podcast. But I had no idea how podcasts worked. I didn't know how many people would become subscribers and listeners and stuff like that. So here I am on the other side of that kind of journey. And it's just fascinating. It's fascinating how life works out. And now we have the advent of Clubhouse, where after this, we're going to have a live kind of interaction on the Rise Up that I do. But one thing, and I'll mention it once again at the end, go on over to iTunes. You can get the Rise Up with Dragon podcast, where you'll get a good quality version of the audio. That's what I'm recording right now, specifically on iTunes, but you can also find it on Stitcher and Spotify, Rise Up with Dragon. And subscribe to it. It's free, and I'd really appreciate it, especially if it does something for you. I always say if you learn something today, give it away. That's how it's going to stay. Leave me a review. The way it works right now is that apparently, as I'm going through the phases of the podcasting with no hidden agenda, I'm developing a hidden agenda now. Or it's not hidden because I'm telling you what it is. And that is that I want the message to be accessible to more people. And the only way we can do that is by you just saying a couple of words. So anyway, I love and appreciate you all for that. So I'm really, really excited about this. I love Mondays, first of all. Had a great interview with Dr. Russell Fulmer, and I got such positive feedback from that one, and also from Tamsin Astor. So I appreciate that. Those are being uploaded as the live podcasts as well. Got a really, really cool guest coming up. You're going to love Elvira, and you'll see the advertisements come out for that. But I'm also right now in the process of reading an amazing book. And this is kind of like a subliminal message and somewhat of a direct message. I'm reading an amazing book right now by Nir Eyal called Indistractable. He also wrote another national bestseller called Hooked. And I just reached out to him just to tell him how awesome it was and how many people I'm going to encourage to read this book. And it looks like I'm going to land an interview with him. So if he has his team watching this podcast right now, or this show, Nir, loving your book. It's very, very much in line with myself and all the listeners. So very excited to have that interview. I'll do you justice. So anyway, out of my book, enjoying reading the book. Today's Rise Up is called The Little Liar. But as always, I just have to remind everybody that today's Rise Up with Dragon is sponsored by Karma Mind, a meditation podcast rooted in Buddha's beautiful teachings. And that voice you hear in the background is my chicken. She is just so amazing. Once again, she created this thing that was kind of selfishly something that we enjoyed. She's just got this beautiful, beautiful South African voice and accent, and just amazing when she reads. meditations and things like that. So she made Karma Mind, and it's just quickly just becoming a big thing, and we're getting such positive feedback. It's part of our rise up, it's part of our twilight hour at night, how we start our day and we wind down. It really helps you bypass your analytical mind and harmonize your mind and your heart so you can make better choices and distinctions as to what matters and what doesn't, what's in your control and what doesn't. Helps you wipe and create a blank slate. So go check out Karma Mind as well and give her a great review as well, because so many people are being helped by that. How did I do, Chicken?
I love it. It's
Okay,
perfect.
good. So fun to have my chicken sit with me on my live shows. Really fun. We do everything together. We the only thing we don't do together is go to the bathroom, and I don't think that's ever going to happen. So anyway, welcome to the Rise Up with Dragon podcast and show. Great morning, and today we are going to do The Little Liar. So come with me for a moment, and then we'll do the. And if you're in Clubhouse, feel free to ping your friends. They can listen there. And if you're watching this live, you can join me in Clubhouse in about 20-25 minutes, and then we'll do a debrief and live interaction. So this is The Little Liar. So come with me. Are you aware of the fact that what you know was taught to you? Right? It's interesting to always think about what I know, what you claim to know, the known, was taught to you and may not necessarily be the truth. I always like to offer people that opportunity to just say, maybe I don't know, right? Maybe what I know just ain't so. So if so, are you willing to leave the cave? Listen to this. Are you willing to leave the cave of the known to venture into the unknown? Now we know that everything that we desire is out of the comfort zone and in the unknown, right? So obviously you can see the value of that, but are you willing and capable right now and eager, and do you have that space in your head right now to leave the cave of the known and step into the unknown? So the first step towards this and reaching your goals is this state I call, and what I'm talking about when I say your goals is this is the first step in reaching that state called the calm, right? Now, some people refer to that as enlightenment or flow, and I love this idea of reaching this state of the calm. And the first step to reaching that state where things are not messing with you anymore, things roll off your back like water off the back of a duck. The first step to that is to leap into the unknown. And I think everybody knows that. So in Buddhism, and I'm going to go a little heavy on the Buddhism right now because this has been a huge asset for us. I don't really consider Buddhism a religion. I just consider it a way of thinking and processing things. So I see a lot of people are jumping into the Clubhouse room right now. So that's awesome. So just so you know, we will have a live interaction when I'm done with the Rise Up. So this is called The Little Liar, just resetting the room, and very excited to have that conversation. So in Buddhism, this realm that we're talking about, this unknown realm, is called no man's land. And it's there that you reach this thing in Buddhism that they call samadhi, or this state of enlightenment, or as I call it, the calm, where you're not only in a flow state where everything's flowing and going well, but one that is no longer distracted or indistractable from things that don't matter and the things that you have no control over. Very cool. In Nir Eyal's book, Indistractable, one of the simple things that he does is he takes that word distraction. And if you're listening to this live or on Clubhouse, just write down the word distraction, and then you'll see that there's another word within it. So one word is distraction, but then on the other side, write the word traction. Very cool. Just to give you a little taste of what that book is about. He says you're either moving towards something and doing things that are moving you towards your goal. That's called traction. Or you're doing things that are moving you away from your goal. So this is one of the values of reaching this state, which the first step is to step into the unknown. So that's a place where most things that you are concerned with fall away, and what reappears is an indifference between perception and non-perception. Neither thing or no thing. Just imagine if you could sit in a place where you could not decipher the difference between things and no things, right? Neither consciousness or unconsciousness. We always have a tendency of picking one side. Is it a thing or is it nothing? Does it mean something or does it mean nothing? Am I conscious of it or am I unconscious of it? I'm talking about this place in between where you're neither here nor there. And I always like to remind people that nowhere is a place, right? No man's land. That's what it means. Everything becomes open and new. So I'm inviting everybody to just open up to this idea. So what I'm saying is, as my son would say, it's pretty chill. And it's cool, Dad. So let's call it a place where you are unfuckwithable. So your response system is rock solid. I'm selling you on the value of stepping into the unknown right now. Your response system is rock solid to the happenings of your life experience. Isn't that the ultimate goal? Isn't that the ultimate goal? To develop a response system that is not messwithable, right? That does not get affected. Now, remember what I said about traction and distraction. So imagine, because you can't avoid the happenings in life. So what I'm referring to right now is when anything happens that's either for or against you, it doesn't matter. You maintain your traction and you maintain your forward movement. So this is the goal. This is the goal, to build a response system that allows you to stay in the game. So if this is interesting to you and you're ready to take this leap, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you because I've spent most of my life not ready to take that leap. I'm excited for you and I congratulate you on starting your new life as the chief architect, director, and leading role in a fantastic comeback story and life of purpose. Let me read that again. Wouldn't it be cool to set this as a goal for yourself today? To be the chief architect, director, and leading role in this comeback story, right? Full of your new purpose in life. I love this. So a shift from dark to light. I always say that I was messed up and now I'm blessed up. And I could definitely pinpoint that to a large part that was for me stepping into the unknown. So there is often a misunderstanding between the conscious and subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is not yours. Think about that for a second. It's very important to understand that a lot of what you do is not up to you, right? The subconscious mind is not yours. It actually belongs to outside forces, outside-in forces that programmed it. The reason why it's not yours, your subconscious mind, is in large, it was programmed by your programmers, right? We call those your MFTPS, your mother, father, teacher, preacher, and society. So the first step towards consciousness, now, what I'm saying here is the value of stepping into this place of consciousness, because that's the place that you become aware of the known and the unknown. A lot of times we don't even know that we are being controlled by our program or our known, right? So the first step towards consciousness is to recognize this difference between your programmed subconscious, which is not yours, subconscious mind, and your new mindful, curious, creative mind. Which one would you prefer? Would you like to run your life based on your subconscious mind, your programmed subconscious mind, outside in, do what you're told, or this idea of a new mindful, curious, and creative mind? So this recognition can only be attained with your conscious mind. So think about the word recognition. The only way you can recognize something is with the help of your conscious mind. So we have to be able to step into our conscious mind. And an easy way to step into our conscious mind is to ask questions and be curious and just become open. It can't access your conscious mind in a closed state. So become open to the fact that maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe what I think I know just ain't so. Maybe is the key word. So Rene Descartes is famous for saying, "I think, therefore I am." So this statement right there makes us conscious of the fact. This is my rise up this morning. Makes us conscious of the fact that anything could be called into doubt or clarity and acceptance. Anything that you think, I think, therefore I am. What that means is that anything can be called into doubt. You can doubt anything, you can be clear on anything, and you can accept anything. So what are you accepting right now? That's where we're going with the little liar. So what are you doubting and what are you embracing with your thinking mind? Your thinking mind. I always say that, and this I got from Greg Braden. He says, if we're making all of our decisions with our mind, we're most likely making decisions that were programmed from our past, and that's what we call the known. We know that we need to go into the unknown for growth, but how do we make those decisions? We have to harmonize our mind with the truth, and that comes from your heart and your gut, right? That's one of the reasons why I use Karma Mind. And I do meditations is because it harmonizes my mind and my heart. Just imagine if you took 5 minutes a day and harmonized your mind and your heart and made decisions based on that. And we know from heart math, one of the easiest ways to do it is when you talk, just tap your heart. You put your hand on your heart and it just reminds your brain to sync up with that. So which mind is doing the thinking? Your programmed unconscious mind or your curious and adventurous mind? Have you ever become aware of the conversation that you're having with yourself in your mind? Now, I was talking to one of our listeners the other day. He's like, Dragon, you get a little bit heavy on stuff. And I said, yeah, but do you get it? Does it make sense to you? And he says, yeah. And I'm like, so do you like heavy? He goes, I like it. I like it. So have you ever become aware of this conversation that you're having with yourself in your mind? Who are you speaking to? Right? One of my mentors, Dr. Larry Markson, wrote a great book, if you ever want, called Talking to Yourself is Not Crazy. And he just talks about the fact that talking to yourself is great. But when you're talking to yourself, who are you speaking to? Is that voice inside your head representing your conscious or your programmed unconscious mind? Think about it. Chances are, if you're talking to yourself and you're referencing yourself, you're talking to your analytical mind, which is programmed from yesterday. Think about that for a second. I know that's a little heavy, but when you're talking to yourself, who are you talking to? And is this person or this thing in favor or against? Is it giving you traction or distraction from where you want to go? So I call that inner critic and that inner voice inside, and this is from my book, do a whole section on this, called The Little Liar. That's what I call that voice in my head. Now, the reason for this name is this. If I ask myself a question, I am bouncing a question off of what I said before, the analytical known part of my mind. Think about that for a second. If I ask myself a question, I'm most likely asking that question to my programmed analytical mind. The known. So we know that 95% of our thoughts, feelings, and actions are carried out by our instincts and learned behaviors. Think about that. So our subconscious mind represents about 95% of our mind. And what I'm saying is those thoughts, feelings, and actions are carried out by our instincts and learned behaviors, right? As a matter of fact, there's a cool concept called learned helplessness. So if you have this concept that you're not worthy and you have self-worth issues and that you don't deserve things, some people call that learned helplessness. So whenever somebody tells me, I can't do it, I said, who told you that? Who told you that? So this stuff was all learned from the outside in, from the various programmers in your and my life, the mother, father, teacher, preacher, and society. Society is teaching you what you can and can't do. God, how many times do we jump in a comparative reality about everything? I do that all day long, but I'm practicing becoming conscious of it. That's the goal. So this is why I became conscious and open to the fact that the voice in my head that is telling me what is and what isn't, what I should or shouldn't do, what I can or can't do, what is a good idea and a bad idea, all of those things are being told to me by this voice. It's a liar, right? It's a liar and it's lying to me because it's telling me what I was taught, right? Not what is in the future and what is unknown, which is where we want to go. So that voice means well. Here's the interesting thing about this voice. We call it the inner critic or the little liar. So it's natural to look at it as a bad thing. But I want you to know that, first of all, that's not an outside voice. You trained that voice. You played a role in it, and it's been serving you to hold you back, right? A lot of times, remember, our greatest fear is not failure, I don't believe. It's that we're powerful beyond measure, and we fear that word, that scary word called overwhelm, right? So doesn't it make sense that we have pre-installed things into our brain to hold us back from success so we don't have to experience overwhelm? So that voice means well, but it's been trained over the years to protect the subconscious mind. The little liar, that little voice, that little person, I think it's a man, is there to protect the subconscious analytical mind's position on things. So think about it. Why would you create a voice that could tell you that you couldn't do something? I'll tell you why. It's there to protect something. It's there to protect this programmed subconscious mind. All these things learned from yesterday. So how do we break this pattern? So let's move into something forward moving and solution focused. How do we break this pattern and free ourselves from this mental prison and prison guard? It's a prison guard. So if you have this mental prison, and your mental prison is yesterday, the known. So the little liar, that little voice in your head, if you want to have fun and just imagine what it looks like. In fact, I've had a lot of people draw or show me pictures what their little liar looks like. A lot of fun. So please give me that feedback. But it's a prison guard, and it's been identified as a little liar, right? Because it's completely lying to you. So first step, recognize it. Remember, become open. In an open state, that's when you can become conscious. You don't have to decide what you're going to do with it, but you just start by recognizing it and becoming curious about it. That's a wonderful approach. Get curious. One of the things that we struggle with when we recognize things is we think that we have to completely unpack it and solve it. No, just get curious and question it, just like kids do. Kids, if they don't understand something, they ask questions. Adults, they don't ask questions. They either accept it or run away from it, right? Get curious about it. This is where a lot of the solutions are. This is a conscious behavior to be curious. Think about it. If you are acting in a curious fashion right now, that is a conscious behavior. So if you want to access more of that conscious, 5%, make it 6%, just do it by getting curious. Ask questions. I teach my kids to ask questions all the time. So the question, the known, and then question the known and become curious of the unknown. So if you question the known, it unveils, it gives rise to the potential for the unknown. So check the facts in your life right now. I'm going to offer this to everybody. Check the facts in your life. Forget about all your concepts for a second and just check the facts, right? The facts are what the scale says. The facts are what you see in the mirror. The facts are what you see in your bank account. The facts are what you see in your potential for growth, right? Do you see forward progress right now towards your desired state, or are you in a pattern of oscillation? For those of you that don't know what oscillation is it means, are you trying to get somewhere and noticing that you're doing it in a rocking chair? Forward, back. Some people in the diet realm call that a yo-yo, right? So do you have dreams that are not coming closer into your reality? Are you noticing that some of the things that you used to dream about, you no longer dream about? You've given up on them. Well, that's something I want you to become conscious. Be curious. Say, hey, what did I used to dream about? And is it coming closer? Are you resisting things? Are you noticing that you're resisting things? Especially, are you resisting things that you kind of know you need to do? Right? Those are steps towards the unknown. So part of your little liar's job is to distract you from and resist the unknown. Remember, if the little liar is there as a prison guard protecting the mental prison, which is the past, which is the known, right? Doesn't it make sense that he's there to distract you by saying things and enhancing you to think and think that you can't and things like that. So his job is to distract you and create resistance from the unknown. Not a good idea. Hey, take it easy. Don't overwhelm yourself. Step back. Be realistic. Those are some of the things that he says. Hey, come on, let's be realistic. Try something else. That's too hard. You don't have time for that. You don't want to experience the failure from that. That's what he says. But of course he's saying that. He's protecting you from the unknown because he likes the known. He's there as the prison guard protecting the known. I say it's his job because it actually is his job. And by the way, you're his boss. You're his boss, and you're the one that's been paying him, and you give him benefits and everything. So I say it's his job because your consistent unconscious habits and behaviors have delegated this job to him, right? I'm telling you, one of the craziest phenomenons of human beings is that we hold ourselves back, right? And how do we do that? We create these little things, like the little liar. We create these little things that hold us back to protect us from danger. By the way, I forgot to show you my shirt today. You can't see it on Clubhouse, but I'll show it to you. It's a little stick figure looking at a sign that says bad, and it says, well, that's not a good sign. I love wearing shirts, and I get these a lot from our listeners, so thank you. So part of your little liar's job is to distract and resist. So it's his job because that's what it's been delegated as. He's just trying to support what he thinks is right for you. Think about that. That little liar is not a bad person. He's been trained to support what you taught him to support. So maybe we can rewire him and give him a new job. Interesting idea. So it's effective. It's effective what he's doing because what we resist persists. So this is a big one. If you're resisting, if you're consciously aware that you're resisting something right now, just understand that by simply resisting it, it actually makes it more of a thing. That's what it means when we say what we resist persists. So once conscious of this idea, just becoming aware of this idea, that's what I love about the little liar, is it helps people just be aware of the fact. Nobody can tell me that they don't have a voice inside their head. And I'm not talking about the one that you find out when you're laying on a couch, right? And being talked to by a therapist. I'm talking about that thing that you bounce ideas off of and ask, good idea or bad idea, with a question mark. So once conscious of this idea, you can make sense of why he's doing this. And in his world, he's not lying. He's actually not lying according to him. He's lying according to you if you've made a decision that you want to move forward into the unknown, right? Now, why would you want to move forward into the unknown? Just to remind you, because that's where that compelling future, valuable vision that you have lies, that state of calm, that idea of not allowing things to screw with you, that idea of being unfuckwithable, like I said, that idea of identifying what is for you, what is against you, what are you in control of, what are you not in control of. That's the value of that. So that's why we fight for it. So we know that challenge comes before change. So he steps in, the little liar always steps in during the challenge. It's convenient for the little liar to step in. That voice in your head always steps in when you're facing challenge. And you know why? Because challenge is tough. Challenge is tough. Doesn't it make sense that negative, that inner critic will jump in during the tough times? Because that's when he's most effective at getting you to turn around, right? So it's crucial that we make this distinction and then see that the little liar is just part of the challenge. We are learning that the challenge and the obstacle is the way, right? So we're understanding that this little voice is just another part of the challenge and the obstacle that stands in between you and your new compelling desired unknown state, right? In fact, I've become so conscious of this. I've been practicing this for years, and I'm encouraging you to. I've become so conscious of this process that I've rewired my brain to consciously validate that I'm onto something big and near a level up when the little liar shows up. I'm at the point now where when I hear a voice inside my head that says I can't or I shouldn't or anything like that, it actually now excites me and validates that I'm on track and close to a level up. And as a matter of fact, if you're facing challenges, and I love the quote, God only prunes the branches that he wants to see grow. If you're facing challenge right now, there's a good chance that you're right about to swing the pickaxe one more time and hit diamonds. And understand that the voice inside your head is supporting you turning around. So get excited if you're hearing that voice. They're trying to protect you from that next swing of the pickaxe because it's so good and so few people get it because they don't recognize that challenge that they're hearing and seeing is just that last barrier. You know, when kids play video games, they get super excited when the big monster at the end of the level is there. Why? Because all they have to do to level up is kill the biggest, strongest monster. So why don't we act like that? Because we've been trained not to. So that's how I know I'm on track. So like the monster in the closet or under the bed, I've become somebody that befriends and partners with that little liar. And I like to look at the idea of, because now I'm showing you that the little liar actually guides me to where I need to be and where I want to be. And I always love the idea that pigs actually have the ability to lead people to where truffles are. They can sniff them out, you know? So I kind of look at the little liar as somebody that, you know, he's talking smack, but he's actually leading me to where I want to go. So that's my rise up today. I say great morning to all of you. Thanks so much. And I have a favor to ask from you. And I said it at the beginning. I always say if you learn something today, give it away, and that's how it's going to stay. So do me a favor and help me out by delivering this message to more people and this conversation. We're going to jump into the Clubhouse room. Find me at Clubhouse at Makes Sense. And then we'll jump in for the debrief of this. But go visit my Rise Up with Dragon podcast, specifically on iTunes. You can find it on Spotify and Stitcher. But go to iTunes today. Hook me up with a subscription, a good rating, if it's good, and more importantly than anything, a review. And that's how more people get this message, because I'm very, very dedicated to the idea of helping other people move from the dark to the light, as somebody and something has helped me do so as well. So love and appreciate you all. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time on Friday for the episode with Elvira. You're going to love her, and you'll see that come out soon. Have a wonderful day.